up and see them flying through the air like beautiful butterflies or birds, larger than life. But when they came back to Earth, they were like all the other humans. And like all those other African people, they worked. They worked in the fields, they worked on the sea, they worked in the village, they built, and they had camaraderie together. There was love in their hearts for each other. And life was good. All of the other people were so proud of these magical people who carried themselves with such grace and dignity. They did not realize that their life was about to change, and that one day there would be people who would come to their land who would make bargains with their kings and their chiefs. Inside of a burgeoning enterprise, an enterprise came to be known as the transatlantic slave trade. African kings and chieftains and merchants from Europe and England and the New World of the 13 colonies, now known as the United States, all came because there was something to be found in Africa, and they called it black gold.
Black gold! Black gold! Black gold! Black gold!
More valuable than the rarest gems.
Black gold!
Booming business in my country across the sea.
Black gold! Black gold! Black gold!
Get the gold, the black gold for me. Can you help me?
Black gold!
Yes, I can help you.
Be careful here. All is not what it seems. All to the prize. Something. Don't get caught up in the scheme. Black gold. Black gold. Black gold.
Black gold.
Will you take ivory tusks? Will you take elephant horns and gorilla paws? Will you take rhino horns? They are all in gold. All the other pale visitors were eager to take them home, for quickly they are sold.
Black
Like
gold. Black gold. Don't get drawn into the scheme. All is not glitter. That is gold.
Does it bother me, this trade flesh? Do I feel guilty? No. It's not that I hate this African commodity, but I'm a businessman. And with every shipment of these bodies, my bank account grows wildly. I dream of the day I will stop being the proprietor and become the owner of both.
Go to the halls of the ship. Go.
My dream realized. A leader and pillar of my community, maybe the governor, and become part of the ruling class. With a beautiful, fair-haired lady, my wife at my side. Peering into my looking glass, my fortune foretold. All I need is that black gold. Black gold. I dream of it. Black gold.
Heads held down to the bows of the ship. They carried them one by one. Naked they were stripped. And then
they were ripped away from the land of their fathers. Ripped away from the land of his wisdom and strength. Ripped away from the verdant soil of their lifetimes and their ancestors' history. Where, who, why, where are they taking me? Who are these wild beasts? What fiendish minds control their glee? Ripped away from the verdant soil of my lifetime, the umbilical cord is cut, severing me from the womb of my homeland, and the blood is flowing free. We are ripped away. them fly away. They stayed with these people, trying so hard to help, and they too wound up in the belly of the ship. And it was only in their dreams could they fly. Only in their dreams did they remember the feel of the wind against their face as they soared through the air in freedom. those who were taken. And so it was, this odious enterprise came to these shores, and it made an abundance of people incredibly wealthy. It also helped to build this country, the fledgling country of the 13 colonies that would become the United States. Now, these African people weren't indentured servants, nor were they considered human in many quarters. And the trip here, in the Middle Passage, was so devastating. Many people died because their will to live died. Many people died because of the circumstances, being shackled to the dead for those who had lost their lives, being shackled together among the filth, among the vermin and the insects that fed on the land. The ancestors drew close, though, but the ancestors knew they could not put their hand there, that what was happening had to happen, but they would always stay close to their descendants. And so, they made it to this land, America. And we think a miracle happened. Those magic people were all kept together. Normally, when boats landed, the people were sold to different places. But all the magic people were sold to the same farmhouse, the same plantation. All together they stayed for years, trying to remember the words, the magic words that would call the spirits of their ancestors. But that middle passage, that capture, was so devastating and so traumatic, the words were hung in their minds. They'd have the feeling of it, but the words would not come forth. Now, of these people, there was the old Baba Jelly, but since he's brought to America, he's called Toby. And Toby would go throughout the plantation every day, carrying a gourd and a bucket of water, giving water to those needy, and saying softly to them, hold fast, hold fast. Don't you worry, don't you fret, don't you cry. Look inside for that spirit, for your African spirit. Look inside for that spirit in you. And all those people, those from his village, the magical village, and those who lived in all the other places along the western and eastern coast of Africa, they listened to what he said, and they held fast. He gave them strength. Now, Toby had a daughter. Her name was Aisha, the beautiful one. The beautiful wife. But since she was here, she was called Sarah. And Sarah had a baby that she loved more than anything in the world. For when that baby was born, two were born. But the other twin was frail and sickly. And Master said he couldn't make no money off of it and to just throw it in the river. And so, unbeknownst to Master, his wife, Miss Mirabella, had a soft spot in her heart for these babies. And she and another child, a child who had been raised in her house, who had helped her and came to live in Master's home, Oprah's girl, together, they got the baby, and they took the baby to another plantation where the owner was old and very forgetful. And there they found another African woman who had just lost her child, who welcomed this baby into her arms. Well, Sarah knew that one child was gone, and she would let nothing happen to this other child. Even though she was told every day, leave that brat, that ball and brat, you leave it back in the quarters, don't come out here in the fields with it. The overseer said it every day. Sarah ignored it. That baby would be tied to her body, and she would come, she would work until her baby hungered and whimpered, and she would stop and feed that baby. Well, on this day, it was so hot, and the baby was so irritable and so hungry that Sarah sat down right in the fields and began to nurse that baby. When the overseer came running and said, girl, didn't I tell you don't be wrong, bring that brat out here? What you think you're doing? You on my time. Get up and get to work now. Sarah didn't say a word. She didn't move. She just looked down at her baby. And the overseer took his whip and he slashed Sarah with that. And Sarah got to her feet and began to run as fast as she could, trying to shield her baby from the horror of the overseer and his the overseer chased her, and she ran and ran, and Oprah's girl saw her, and she ran to Oprah's girl and gave her a baby, little Precious. And then Sarah kept running. And now the overseer caught up with this. Sarah turned around and she and fighting in the back. She kicked him over and over. For every blow she landed on the overseer, he landed on her with that whip. She fought until she had no more fighting. When he finished with her, her skin was bloody. Beautiful, beautiful black skin was bloody and looked like it rolled like Oprah. And Sarah lay there in the fields, letting her blood go into the earth. And she knew that she could not do this anymore. And in her mind, she could hear the voices of her ancestors calling, saying, "We're here, Sarah, we're here. Come to us, come to us, come to us." And the voices were coming from the river. And Sarah got up to her feet, and she looked until she found Oprah's girl, and she took her baby, and she tied the baby to her body, and she told Oprah's girl, "I have to go. I can't do this anymore." And with her baby, she began to run toward the river. Oprah's girl ran and got Toby and said, I think Sarah's going to jump in the river. I think Sarah's going to kill herself." Toby ran as fast as he could, and there was Sarah on the top of a hill about to step off and go into that water, because she could hear her mama's voice, she could hear her mama's voice, she could hear her family calling her. When Toby came to her, he reached and grabbed her and said, "No, Sarah, no." And she said, "Baba, I must go. The ancestors are calling me, and we will be together forever. I will visit you in your dreams, but I will not be slaves anymore, and my baby will never be slaves." And she leaned forward to jump. And we think God had his eye on these people, because suddenly Toby's head had a good shake, and Toby remembered the words that he called out his spiritual ancestors. "To show me, to show me, look now, and Sarah's arms stretched out into beautiful ebony-colored wings, and she hovered for an instant over the fields. And then with her baby tied securely to her body, her wings spread, she began to fly as fast as she could, flying toward the land of the sun, to the land of the east, her homeland, Africa. And now Toby, empowered with the knowledge of the magical words, raced throughout the plantation, and one by one, he touched the heads of each person he cried out, "To show me, to show me, look now, and one by one, their arms stretched out into beautiful black and brown wings. Then their bodies lifted from the earth, and they hesitated for one instant only and looked at those on the ground who did not have the ability. And then those people turned to the land of the sun, the land of the east, their homeland Africa, and they flew to their freedom. And now only Toby was left. Toby and all the many other people who did not have the ability to fly. And they looked at him and they said, "Toby, teach us how to fly." But Toby said, "I can't teach you. And I don't have the energy to carry you. But there is something that you can do." And as Toby said the words to himself, his body lifted from the ground, his arms stretched out into those ebony wings, and he called advice back to the people who were crying, "Don't leave us, Toby! Don't leave us! Teach us how to fly! Please, Toby, don't leave us here!" The wind brought his words back to the people long after his body had disappeared from their sight. "Search, look, following your own way to freedom." And they did. They searched, they looked, and they found the Underground Railroad. And they found all of these people, black people, African people, Native American people, the indigenous people. They found so many who wanted to help them to freedom. And they were so surprised to see all the white people who were part of the Underground Railroad. And one by one, those who were left, they found their magic inside of them, their imagination. Many came north. Many went to Massachusetts and Connecticut and New York. Many went to Canada. Many went to Colorado and went west. Many went to Oklahoma. Many went to Mexico. They found their way through. And every night, they would gather their children around the fire and they would tell their children the story of the magical people who could fly, who inspired them to find their way to freedom too. I tell you, this story is absolutely, positively the truth. Now, for Brianna and Tyree, they lived through all of this. And in the 21st century, they will remember this. And they will find their magic. And they will make their dreams come true. And in doing so, they'll make the world a better place for me and you. And I tell you, this story is absolutely, positively the truth. And if it's not completely true, there's some truth to be found in the story. I'll let you think about it and figure out what it is. I give it to you on the platter. It's food for thought. Take it, eat it, digest it well, and grow very, very wise. The scientists now.
They determined their assessments. I told them that's our